Hey guys, welcome back to SudokuManiacs. So we continue our journey with learning the solving techniques and tips that are required to solve the basic variance. Now normally what happens is, especially when we host these monthly competitions on the Indian website Logic Masters India, each round is segregated by a category. So basically we have a category which is based on mathematical variance, which can include killer, little killer, and any other variation that involves some kind of a mathematical operation. Similarly, we also have a category for constraints that utilize neighboring cells. For example, the one that we saw, repeated neighbors yesterday, falls in the category of neighboring cells Sudoku, right? Even your untouched and non-consecutive will fall under these categories, which can also be the converse category if you can call them. So continuing with the category wise, today we are going to have a look at the Fortress Sudoku, which again relies on the relationship between two orthogonally adjacent cells. So before we proceed with that, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for the wonderful response to our video yesterday on the repeated neighbors Sudoku. So thank you guys. Your continued patronage is motivation enough for us to continue. So if you guys have not subscribed, I suggest you do that right now, because from the feedbacks that we are getting, we are being told that these are very informative videos. So I don't want anyone losing out on it. So make sure you are subscribed and the bell icon has been clicked so that you are notified as and when we upload a new content. Alright? So the rules of the Sudoku are the rules of classic Sudoku apply. Now going forward, I will not be explaining in detail the rules of the classic because everyone is aware of that. So I'll simply be stating rules of classic Sudoku apply, which basically means digit cannot repeat in a row, column or a 3 by 3 box. Now additionally in this variant, we have a few cells that are marked in gray. Now, whenever there is a gray and a white cell adjacent to each other orthogonally, that is in the four directions, left, right, top or bottom, in such a scenario, the gray cell will always contain a digit higher in value than the white cell. That's the basic rule. So one of the first and the basis thing that one needs to remember when we are solving this is, when we have a black and a white, the gray and a white cell beside each other, we should always remember the 9 will never be in the white because we can't have a greater digit than 9 in the grid. Neither can 1 be in the gray cell because 1 is the least number possible and we can't have a number lesser than 1 in the grid. So these are a couple of things that we need to bear in mind before we actually start cracking on it. And always we should look at the number of white edges being shared by a gray cell. That allows us to minimize the possibilities. For example, when I look at row 8 and column 7, which is a gray, and row 8, column 8 is a white cell which has a 6. So which basically means the digit in the gray cell has to be greater than 6. And with the 7 already available in the column, it can only be 8 or 9. So these are the things that we need to keep an eye out. Good enough? So let's get cracking. And the first thing we do is, that's right, we start off as a classic Sudoku. So I always look for 1s and 9s. So when I look at the 1 in R8 column 9, in box 8 it cannot be on the gray cells. So it has to be in one of these two, right? Which pushes it here and here. Now again, when I look at the central box, there are 3 cells which are white, and all the gray cells have at least 2 white cells adjacent. What that means is the minimum number that can be in the gray cell has to be a 3, so that the worst case scenario possibility would be 1 and 2 on either side of it. right? Which brings me to the point, the 1 and 2 in the central box can never be on the gray cell. Hence, I can quickly pencil mark the central cells stating that the digits 1 and 2 will be in column 5. Keeping that in mind, I have a 2 and I have a 2. So 2 cannot be here. 2 has to be in these two. Now both these cells are gray cells. How do we identify where it would come? Now both these two cells have a adjacent white cell, which basically means for the digit 2 there's only one number which is less. So the digit 2 should and will always have the digit 1 beside it, provided the 2 is in a gray cell. So row 7 column 6 cannot be a 2 because we already have a 1 in box 9. So this has to be a 2, this becomes a 1, so I can eliminate this, right? So 2, the 2 will logged in column 5, the 2 has to be in these two, right? But again, if I place a 2 in row 3 column 6, it would force a 1 in row 3 column 5, which is not possible because we already got the 1 in column 5. So this cannot be a 2, this is my 2, so I can again place a 1 directly beside the 2 because 2 will always have a 1, that's the only digit less than 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2 and 1, 2 cannot be here. So this is my pencil mark obviously, and the higher digit has to be in the gray cell. Good so far? And with the 2, obviously this again has to be a 1. Following me? Good. Now, next, we had seen that, sorry, this would be an 8 and 9. 9 cannot be here. So there are only two places where the 9 can be placed in row A. 6, this cannot be a 6, this cannot be a 6. So my 6 is logged in these two, which means in box 3 the 6 has to be in one of these two. But we got a 6 here. So this has to be a, 6. And I need a larger number here. I can't have an 8 or a 7, so this has to be a 9, which makes this an 8, and this becomes my 9. Right? 9 cannot be here because 9 can never be on a white which is adjacent to a gray. 9 cannot be here. So the 9 is logged in this, which pushes the 9 here because we got a 9. Right? So let's put the pencil marks 5, 7, 5, 7. This would be alright. 3, 3, 3 has to be in one of these two, correct? But if I have a 3 in the gray cell, I would require a lesser digit on the white, but the 1 and 2 are already available in the box. So I can't have the 3 in the gray. And these are the things that we need to look out for when we are solving these variants. What are the possibilities? It's not that like we look at the possibility where one digit can be placed. No, we always have to think of the digits in relation to the adjoining cells as well, because that will make the solving much faster. So this 4 cannot be here. It can be here, yes, and it can be here, right? Now in where else? Okay, the missing digits here are 4 can't be here, 4 can't be here. This is a 4, sorry. So let's add our pencil marks here, right? Now 4, 4. So the 4 has to be placed in one of these two, right? Because we got a 4 here. Once again, if the 4 was in the gray cell, I would require 1, 2 or 3 here. But again, we have all the 3 digits in the row already available. So obviously I can't have the 4 in the gray. So this becomes my 4, which pushes the 4 here and here. However, again I can't have the 4 in the gray because that's right, you got it. We already have the 1, 2 and 3 in box 2. So that can't be a 4. So this 4 is out and this gives me a 5, 7 pencil mark. So if this is a 5, 7, this has to be larger than 5 or 7. So greater than 5 will be 6, already there, 7 and an 8. Alright, so I can have both of these, which again gives me 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8. And just like what we did with the 3s and the 4s, let's look at row 2, column 5. Can I have a 5 here? Because then that would require a lesser number in row 3, column 5. But again, 1, 2, 3 and 4 are already available. So obviously this cannot be a 5. That gives me a 5 in row 2, column 4. Now comes a slight, what do you say, common sense thing that we use here. Now there are 4 digits which are remaining in the box too, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And we see that there are 3 gray cells and 1 white cell. And that white cell is adjoining all the 3 grays, right? What this means is the least number possible out of those 4 will be in the white cell, because it has to be smaller than all the 3, which would be 6. So this gives me a 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, right? So you have to think on these lines as well. And with this 4 there, this had to be a 4, which is greater than 3, perfectly fine. And I require a lesser number here, but with 1 and 2 already there in the column, this becomes a 3. And this again would be 5, 7 and 8. So row 8, 2 digits remaining, 5 and 7. We got a 5 here. So that's a 7 and a 5. I can eliminate the 7 from there. Alright. So which would be here? I can't have the 8 in the bottom cells. Oh, first let's wrap up the 1s. So this is a 1, this goes out. 3, 6. 3, 6 can't be here. So this has to be 3 and a 6. That gives me an 8 here. But this gray has to be greater than 4, right? So that's obviously a 6 and a 3 here. That gives me a 6, 8, 6, 8, a 6, 8. Alright? So the remaining digits in the box are 5 and 7. That gives me a 9 and a 3 to complete the row. So this is a 5, this is a 7, this becomes a 3. And now with the 7, this becomes a 5, this becomes a 7. So that's out. 5, I get a 7 here, which makes this an 8, the greater digit. And this is a 7, and that's a 5. And with the 5 there, 7 and 5 we start getting, and we also got the 8, right? 8 and 6. So we're slowly filling it up, and the last digit in column 3 is a 5. So this also was an 8 and 9. So column 6, remaining digits are 7, 8 and 9. With the 7 here, this is again 8 and 9, a pair, so we get a 7. And here 3, 8 and 9. This is again 8, 9. Another pair is formed, and this was a 3. So we have made some progress. Let's see what are the missing digits. So column 9, 5, 6 and 9. So this is a 5, 9, 5, 6, 9, 6, 9. Column 1 was 1, 8 and 9. So that's an 8, 9, 1, 8, 9, 1, 8, 9. And here 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7. So that's a 7, that's a 6, that's a 4, 4, 4, and I got the 4 here. Alright, 6 is there, so this is not a 6, this becomes a 6. So 5, 9. So this had to be a 1, 2 and 5 in the central cells. I can remove the 1 from here and the 2 from here. Now, what next? The missing digits for column 8 were 2 and 8. 2, 8, 2, 8. How silly. We have a 3 in the gray cell, right? So I can't have a 5 in the white cell because it's right at it's greater than 3. So obviously this has to be a 1, which makes this as a 1. So that's a 2 and that's a 5. So that's a 5 and a 9. So that becomes an 8 with a 9, 8 and a 9, 8 and a 9, sorry. And that's my 2 with a 8. So at times, the puzzles that I create stump me as well. This was created by me way back again, I would say in 2011 or 12, if I'm not mistaken. I'm digging up my old archives, and it's fun to solve the old puzzles, after years after you had created them. So the link to solve this puzzle online will also be placed in the description. And as always, I created one more bonus puzzle for you. So the second puzzle also would be there in the description. So do try out both the puzzles. Let me know your feedbacks. And if you did enjoy the video, like, subscribe, share, let others know. And till the next time, happy solving.